upload it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Fabulous Fasting Foxes Club tonight. We hope to have more next time, but we're glad for the people that showed up. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to give kind of an overview of what we're going to be learning here on this intermittent fasting journey, because that is very much what weight loss is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be, I snap my fingers and I lose weight overnight. We all know that that does not work. We've tried it before. So we're going to talk about a few different things. I kind of actually took some notes today on my own ebook. Did you get a chance to get that, by the way? The intermittent fasting?
Not yet. I have to figure out how to download it.
Oh, that's fine. I have it here. No, that's okay. And I actually said that, I think, on one of my videos, that it was fine if you could not get a hold of it, because it's all going to be basically what I'm talking about tonight anyways. It's just a little bit more in detail. So when you do get a hold of it, you'll say, oh, yeah, I remember talking about that. Okay. Because that's how I took my notes. I read my own book. So
okay.
I educated myself my own way. All right. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is celebrating, because I think that is the biggest thing that people struggle with, is that diet, the word itself, sounds like drudgery. What I wanted my weight loss to be, and I knew I would not put up with anything less, was a celebration, something that was enjoyable, something that where you could have a structured thing, but it wouldn't feel structured. You'd be like, you know, you can eat what you want within reason. You got to be sensible no matter what diet or plan you're on. You got to use your brain. You know, you're not going to just sit and eat a whole cake and go, oh, gee, I wonder why I didn't lose the weight. You know, it's just kind of not smart.
No.
So you're going to have, of course, the eating window and the fasting window, and you're going to determine what works for you. There's a 14 whatever and a 16-8. I think it's all based on a 24-hour cycle. And I'm terrible at math, so I won't be able to tell you what the actual scheduled hours are. But I do the 11 to 7 schedule of eating windows. So, or I mean, eating window. And then I fast however many of those other hours are up until 11. So that's the first part, is there's the fasting and the resting window, I call it. And the important thing about when you're in the fasting window or the fasted state, where your body's finally producing glycogen and it's drawing from your fat stores instead of basically you keep shoving food in there so it never gets a chance to digest or assimilate anything. You have to be busy, stay busy. Like, first of all, the best time to actually fast is when you're sleeping, because you won't know you're doing it. That's how I do it. That's why I stop eating at 7, because I figure by 7 o'clock, by around 8 o'clock, I'm tired and I'm going to be looking for the bed. And then I'm going to sleep until at least 6 or 7 in the morning, and then I go to work. And then by about 11 o'clock, they're calling lunch for the kids. And that's when I'll be eating my first meal, which will be probably a big one, because those lunches there are pretty big for me. They're pretty filling. And I just eat whatever the kids eat. I'm fine with that. And that way, I don't have to bring a lunch. I might bring something tomorrow. I don't know. But the point is, when it comes time for you actually to eat, and I'm going to go into this a little bit as we get farther on in this whole study, you're going to learn specific ways of when you eat what, sort of. You'll understand more as I go on. Anyway, a little bit about me. I'm a motivationalist. I am an inspirationalist. I'm an influencer. And I try to be a good communicator. I definitely like to hold people accountable and be held accountable in a fun, friendly way. I don't like feeling forced, and I know just about everybody I know does not want to feel forced. That's why I wanted to have it like a club where it's kind of fun and free, and we can just chit chat and all that kind of stuff, because that's a lot easier than having to sit through like AA meetings or something where you're going over all kinds of teachings and it's boring. Frankly, been to not AA, but Codependence Anonymous, and it was just like so boring for me. I was actually teaching the class like after the 3rd time there, because I knew everything. It was like, okay, I've heard this before. I get it. We get the little book out, we read this, and then we talk, and we can't tell anybody how to improve their situation. We just talk about all our misery, week after week and do nothing about it. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. That's where the coach side of me comes in. If you want to call me a life coach, that's why I called myself that, because I'm an evidence and results driven type person. I want to see change. Part of that is being a Buffalo, New York person, because we're all about change. That's all I heard growing up was New York establishing change for its citizens, you know. So I'm all about change. So me, I'm lazy. When it comes to dieting, I don't wanna. I'm a rebel, I'm a brat, and I don't wanna. I wanna eat my cake and eat it too. Not just have it and eat it too. I wanna eat it and eat it too. I want pie, I want cookies, I want all the things that Italy made famous. You know, cannoli, cream puffs. Yeah, all pasta. Oh yeah, beyond that. That's what I had tonight. Pasta. Yeah. Definitely. I want that stuff. I'm not going to give that stuff up. And if you're telling me I have to, I guess I'll stay fat, because 9 out of the 10 people I know that are Italians in America are obese. So people that I know. I mean, that may not be the statistic. That's my statistic. I grew up with a grandma that she was very, very heavy. And her daughters, as they were growing up, lost all kinds of weight. And she kept trying to shove the food at them. And they'd be like, Mom, stop. This is not healthy. You're killing yourself. Oh, have a little pasta. Have a little cannoli. Come on. It's like, no, we don't want to. We want to lose the weight and stay thin and healthy and not have a heart attack. High blood pressure, clogged arteries. No, thank you. But we know the food tastes really good. There's no arguing with that. And back where I came from, we had Costanzo's Bakery. We had all kinds of things where La Bella Sicilia, Italian restaurant, everything made homemade, ooey gooey cheese, lots of sauce, lots of, what's the word? I'm trying to think of what it's called. What do you call that dish with all the meat on it? What am I thinking of? Antipasto. Antipasto, yeah. We had all that stuff, and I loved all that stuff, and I was raised on it. So no, I am not going to give up everything that I love to lose the weight, but I still want to lose the weight. That's what intermittent fasting is great for. So I decided one day I'm going to do this the easiest and most enjoyable way possible, or I'm not going to do it. Right. So how did I go about it? Here we go, because this is what we're going to do. First of all, how many people out there, and I know people will be watching this later because I'm going to be uploading it, are afraid to look in a mirror or don't like what they see when they look in the mirror? Can you stand in front of a mirror nude? That's the question. If you can't stand in front of a mirror nude and be okay with a few fat rolls here and stuff that's extra and say, I love my body, this is what I have right now, doesn't mean it's going to stay, but I love this because this is all of me. If you can't do that, you will not lose the weight. I guarantee you. Because if you don't love yourself now, you're not going to love yourself in any other shape either. Because it comes from inside. It's not an outer thing. And that's where people go really wrong. They're like, oh, I want to look like a model. Then I'll be happy. No, you got to be happy with who you are first. Because you will not be motivated to put your best foot forward and change if you're not happy now.
Right.
So that's another thing I learned was I had to be able to look myself in the mirror and say, this is what I have right now. Well, I got a hanging pendulum of a belly here and over everything. It's an apron. That's what they call it, an apron, with a very good reason, because that's basically what it is. And a lot of Italians wear more than one apron. One is the cloth one and one is the skin flesh one.
That was good.
So balance is the next thing. You have to have balance in life, and I'm not just talking about what you eat. You have to have hobbies. You have to have a time for fasting, a time for eating, a time to go to work or work from home, and a time to be with people. You have to have different aspects of your life, because if you don't, you're going to be obsessed in one area. You can get obsessive about dieting. It shouldn't be where you live to eat. It's you eat to live. That's the point. Yeah. When it's time to eat, then yes, eat. When it's not time, it shouldn't even be on your mind. And after a while, when you form the habit, and it takes about 21 days to make or break a habit, once you have that habit, it's super easy. And here's a bonus with intermittent fasting. It only takes about maybe a week or two to retrain your brain to do this. I had no problem at all. The reason why is you start out very slow. Now, I jumped into it because I was like, forget this. I don't like all this excess. I don't like this double chin.
I know.
That. Mine came back because I let myself go over the holidays and just finally said, I'm just going to eat whatever I want. But I know I can lose it because I've done it before. So I have the confidence that I can. So I was like, okay, you're just going to do your 11 to 7 window like you used to. You're just going to stick to it, period. That's all there is to it. When I first started way back when, about, I think it was a year or two ago when I first started doing intermittent fasting, I started by gradually getting into it. So if I woke up at 7 and I usually ate breakfast at 7, I would make myself wait till 8. And then the next, after a few days of that where I was comfortable with that, then I'd go to 9, then I'd go to 10, then I'd go to 11. So it was a gradual process. This time around, I don't need to do that. I know I can make it till 10 or 11 o'clock to eat. So I'm going to do that. And I'm busy up until that time. So it's easy if your mind isn't on food. Next thing I call saddle up. In order to achieve anything, you need tools. So we're going to talk about what some of your tools are going to be. First of all, here's one of your tools. This is called a notebook. These are good for 2 things. Journaling, number 1. And you don't have to use a notebook. If you got a journal already, please use your journal. But also for charting, which we are definitely going to get into in a little bit more depth in a minute. But a notebook, a highlighter, a tape measure, and a journal.
Okay.
Will be what you need. And this is all in your ebook too when you order it.
Okay.
So you're going to want those tools. It's very simple. If you want a scale, go for it. I'm about ready to toss my scale in the trash. Because one day it tells me I weigh this. The next day it tells me I gained 7 pounds. And I'm like, yeah, not possible. I think I need new batteries. So, and honestly, your weight fluctuates so much. It's just smarter to measure. You will really see the difference when you measure. And the measurements we will talk about later too, because I'm going to get into specifics about what you measure. There's only 3 measurements to really do. I'm not into measuring around the thigh, the elbow, the armpit, or whatever. Who cares? None of that stuff is going to matter. Food and feelings. This is another thing. This is where your journal comes in handy. When you eat, you need to learn how your body responds to food. And what I mean by that is not, does it put on weight and whatever. I mean literally how you feel physically when you eat certain things. When you eat a big bowl of pasta, how do you feel afterwards? And I don't mean guilty. I mean, are you feeling like you're congested? Are you feeling sluggish? That's what you're going to look for. I know I do. Doesn't stop me from eating it, but yes, I know that it does that to me. Then I take an antihistamine and I'm okay again. But I don't want to live my life relying on drugs either, so I try to go easy on that kind of stuff. But you have to pay attention and become very present with food. And I think that's the biggest reason why, especially Italian people and Greeks and people that are from the Eastern areas of the world, why they are obese, because they don't pay attention to what they're eating. They're just enjoying the moment and partying, and they're not paying attention. You need to become present in the moment with your food or your drinks, whatever. If you're going to have a glass of wine or whatever, fine, savor the wine. Don't guzzle it down like somebody's going to steal it out from under you. You know, if you're going to eat the cannoli, enjoy your cannoli. Don't enjoy the whole entire box of cannolis. Have a couple, put the box away. You know, common sense type stuff. But when you're eating the cannoli, how's it making you feel? Are you happy? Are you feeling like this is like a celebratory moment? Because if it's not and it's just, oh, it's there, so I'm going to eat it, that's just plain dumb. So don't do it, basically. Enjoy it. Eat food that you love. That was one of the commitments I made to myself and my husband. I am no longer going to cook or eat anything I don't absolutely adore. What is the point? Why should I eat a can of Campbell's chicken noodle soup when I can make homemade Italian style soup that will, you know, melt in your mouth and just savor the flavor? Why?
Right.
Why should I buy chemical laden junk and put it into my God-given body? What is the point in that? Nothing. So your feelings about food, that's very important. Remember with your eating window and your fasting window, when you are fasting, that window is shut tight. You do not eat anything during the fasting time. This is easier said than done. I know. If you slip up a little bit and you're like, oh, I just want a little piece of cheese before bed or something like that, it won't kill everything. But you got to be honest with yourself. If you're going to stick to something, you're going to. It's not that complicated to do, especially if you ease into it. So your open window, when you can eat, is wide open. You can eat whatever you want within those 8 hours or however many hours your eating window is. Just tell yourself, if you're struggling with the fast, it's almost time. I can eat whatever I want. All I got to do is, behave for a little while longer. That's why you do it when you're sleeping, so you don't know. That's what I do. Make sure you set what I call fancy goal dates. What do I mean by this? A lot of people say, oh, I got to lose all this weight because I'm getting married. And I used to think, well, that's kind of dumb. You're just going to lose it for that, and then you're going to put it all back on. And actually, there's a lot of wisdom in that. That's why I call them fancy goal dates. That's my own term for it. Set goal dates each month. So maybe 1 month is Valentine's Day. The next month, your relative's coming in from out of town. The month after that is Christmas. And the month after that is your birthday. Have these specific fancy goal dates that you're going to set for your goals. And make sure your goals are attainable. I always say a half a pound to a pound a week is reasonable. They say don't lose any more than 2 pounds a week. I set it even lower than that, because if you're not losing 2 pounds, you're going to beat the tar out of yourself. What's wrong with you? You didn't lose 2 pounds. You could have at least done that. You can lose a half a pound to a pound a week. It's not hard, especially since, as they always say, the first pounds are going to be water weight. And that's true with any time you lose weight. So what? It's still weight. It's still coming off and not going on. That's the way I look at it.
It's still something.
So whether it's a pound of water or a pound of fat, what do we care? We don't care. We just want it gone, and we want it off of us. After you lose the water weight, you'll start losing the other weight. And it's got to start from somewhere. Everybody begins at the beginning. All right, the next thing, movement. That's a dirty word. Exercise is an even dirtier word. We hate exercise. We're Italian. We don't do that kind of stuff. That's too much work. Who wants to exercise? We just want to sit there and eat our cream puffs and be left alone. Watch our news or our ball games or whatever we do. We don't want to move. So I call it move it anywhere, anyway. Literally. If it means your movement is walk out the door, down to the mailbox and back a few times, then do that. If you can't get up and you're chair bound or bed bound or whatever, there's arm movements you can do. There's all kinds of things you can do. Just move it somewhere. You have to be active. I used to say you have to sweat, but honestly, I can't do that anymore because I found out I have exercise-induced asthma. So I have to exercise very carefully, or I start panting for breath and feeling like I'm dying and having an inhaler. So there are extenuating circumstances in a lot of people's cases, and you can't exercise like that. But move in some way. Just don't sit around. Even if you're like at a doctor's office, pace. You can even pace back and forth in the doctor's office. People look at you weird, but what do you care? You're shedding pounds while you're pacing. Doesn't matter what they think of you. If you're embarrassed, walk outside the door and walk around the parking lot. Act like you're staring at the trees. Nobody knows. Here's another trick I learned. Take your cell phone out. You don't have to call anybody. Sit there and talk. People will think you're on a phone call. They don't know. And walk around with it. They have no clue. And you'll be losing weight at the same time. Win-win. All right, next thing, veg up. Eat lots of green leafy vegetables. Spinach, kale, romaine lettuce. Don't waste your time on iceberg. I mean, if you want iceberg, mix it in with the romaine. Iceberg is nothing but water. There is no real nutrition in iceberg lettuce. You may as well take a sponge and just squeeze it into your mouth, because that's pretty much what you're eating. Romaine. Yes, I know, Italians like the big crunchy parts of the lettuce. And I keep saying Italian because I'm here with an Italian that totally relates to what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So we see eye to eye. And right now, we get this situation. So romaine lettuce, spinach, Asparagus is super good for weight loss. It's highly expensive, very, very expensive. But if you can get it, you know, affordably at the market or whatever, just go get you some asparagus. Artichokes are yummy, but honestly, there isn't much to an artichoke. So we pile it full of breadcrumbs and, you know, oils and all kinds of yummy stuff that really puts the weight on us. But it's okay if it's during your eating window, you can have an artichoke or two maybe. And artichoke hearts are great too. So, you know, green leafy vegetables mostly though. Lots of green leafy vegetables. Make sure no matter what you eat, you're always getting your greens in. It's great for the digestive system, the elimination cycle, and all of the above. And colorful vegetables. They say that you should eat every color of vegetable that you can each day. So you got your red for the beets and all that kind of stuff. Ooh, look at that. We have 10 minutes left in this.
Oh, wow.
Because it's free. Otherwise, they shut you down in 10 minutes. So we're going to go through this quick. There's not a whole lot more to talk about. It's $14.99 or something to upgrade, and I'll probably take the money that people donated and upgrade it at some point. So for now, we're going to hurry up and get through this. Where was I at? Okay.
Colorful vegetables.
Colorful vegetables. Yeah. Eat one of every color. All right. Oh, and I'm almost done. Perfect. All right, sleep, very important. Get rest, get sleep. You do not want to be sleep deprived and try to lose weight because it's not going to happen for you. Your body will be raised in cortisol. It will hold on to the fat, and you'll wonder why you're not losing anything. Make sure you sleep. You should get at least 8 hours a day or through the night. Possibly 10 if you can. I don't have time for all that. I got to have at least 8, though. So 8 is a good amount of sleep, especially for an adult. Lemon water when you wake up and you break your fast. Lemon water is extremely good for breaking fasts. Coffee you can have after your lemon water. You got to have your lemon water first. That's going to help flush the fat out of your body. Why it works that way, I don't know, but I know it does. Vinegar is another thing. I haven't really had a whole lot of success with vinegar, but some people swear by it. So whatever works for you to fill you up in the morning and kind of refresh you and flush out all those sleep toxins and all that jazz. Fruit is really good. Make sure you don't eat a lot of it. You can have some, but fruit is high in sugar and it will raise your insulin levels and maybe make you crave things you shouldn't be eating in large amounts. So eat fruit, but eat sensibly. I usually go for grapes, berries, like the lower end of the spectrum of the sugars.
What about bananas?
Banana's super high in sugar. I mean, you probably could have a banana, but you don't want to go hog wild on them because they are mostly sugar. But I would never say get rid of fruit out of your diet because I won't do it. I tried going without eating fruit and I just felt sluggish. So you need a little bit of natural sugars. So, you know, eat your banana, but eat it like earlier in your eating cycle so you have time to burn that off. So eat your banana or 2 bananas or whatever. Try it. I mean, this is a trial and error thing too. If you do something and you find out you're not losing, then, oh, maybe I'll cut out the bananas this next week and see what happens. It's your body. It's your way of doing it, you know. Salad. Make sure you eat salads. Very important. It's hard because I can't afford a lot of them. That's why I go to the food pantry. But lettuce and stuff doesn't last very long. I need to get one of those crisper Tupperware things to make mine last longer.
That's a good idea.
But I don't have one right now. So salads, just eat them. Salad kits are really good because they last longer. So get yourself a couple salad kits. Make sure you try to have a salad every time you can. It's filling. It will cause you not to eat so much of everything else because it will fill you up. It's fibrous too. Very good. Fiber is important. Protein. If you eat meat, eat meat. I'm kind of steering away from red meat because it causes a raise in estrogen, which leads to cancer. And so I'm kind of avoiding a lot of red meat. I'm kind of turkeyed out at this point. We got a turkey from the pantry the other day, and I'm so sick of turkey, I could just scream. So I might be making turkey soup in a couple days, but not for a little bit because there's only so much turkey you can eat. But there's other kinds of meat you can eat. I'm not a pork eater, so I don't advise pork because it has worms and stuff that I don't digest, but other people do fine with it. So to each his own. I'm also Jewish, so that's kind of against my beliefs, but let's see. The way to eat this stuff is you're going to drink your water to begin with, your lemon water or your vinegar water or whatever. Then you're going to have your coffee. This is during your fasting time. Then your next meal should probably be fruit because you want to eat that early in the day. Then by your 4th or 5th hour, you're going to be having your biggest meal. So you're going to have your meat, if you want potatoes, whatever you want. Just you're going to have 2 good-sized meals. That's the way I do it within those 8 hours. So the first part of the day, you're going to have your fruits, more of the sugary type stuff. If you want desserts, I would advise eating them earlier in the day. And then later on in the day, have a good-sized meal with your meat, your potatoes, your pasta, whatever. And then at the end of your window, stop. Do not eat anything. Do not drink anything. You can have water. But you just have to be careful because you'll mess up your whole fasting cycle if you eat anything.
Yeah.
The last thing I have to talk about is your positive self-talk. Don't put yourself down while you're doing this. Basically, encourage yourself. Tell yourself you can do it. Tell yourself you're worth it. Whatever you got to do. But you got to be positive with yourself and encourage yourself and not self-deprecate. That is the biggest reason why we fail. Oh, you stupid jerk. Why did you eat that? You know, you knew better, blah, blah, blah. No. If you eat something, tomorrow's a new day. You know, you ain't dying yet, as far as you know. And if you are, it doesn't matter because you ain't taking all this with you anyway. So
Right.
who cares? While you're here, live it up, enjoy, be sensible, follow the guidelines I just said. Get yourself my ebook so you can really follow it. It's only
Okay.
99 cents. It's less than
Yeah.
the price of coffee at Starbucks. So 99 cents. And
Okay.
that's it, basically. In a nutshell, that's intermittent
Wonderful.
fasting. So next time we come together, hopefully we can talk about a little bit more about goal setting. I haven't even sat down and really set any reasonable goals yet. But what I did tell you was the measurements. Okay, the measurements you want are around your waist, around your belly, and underneath your belly. Lift up that fat roll right there, that apron, and measure right under there, right against that area.
Okay.
And because that is where you're going to be trying to lose the weight, those 3 places.
Okay.
For your weight loss journal type thing, not the journal, but the actual measurements that you're going to keep track of in your weights and stuff. You're going to write your weights down the left side of it. Start at the lowest weight or the highest weight up here and then go down to the lowest that you want to be, sorry, backwards. Lowest weight to the highest, I believe it is. Because you want your, when you draw your dots or your bars, you're going to want it to go down, not up, if you know what I mean. Okay. And then along the bottom of it, you're going to put the dates or the days or the times, whenever you measure yourself, basically. And so you're going to take whatever your weight is that you start out with, and you're going to just keep track of your weight and connect the dots, basically, and you'll see where the bar thing goes up. An easier way of doing this is get the MyFitnessPal application, and it's free. There is a free version of it. All of it isn't free, but the one that I use is free because I'm not using one that I got to pay for. I don't have all that kind of money. But MyFitnessPal will actually count it for you. You log in what foods you eat, and then they will actually count whatever calories, how much fat, fiber, whatever. That's a lot easier than just trying to do it yourself. But I did both for a while because I was like a diehard. But that's basically it in a nutshell. And of course, I am available to anybody out there in YouTube land or Facebook land or whatever land you're watching me from. And you can ask me questions. I'm here to support you and help you through this. I've done it. I used to weigh close to 300 pounds. I'm probably around the 200 range, maybe 190 something. I'm not sure. I haven't stood on a scale or anything, but I'm not 470, not even close. Anyways, my husband. So if I can help you at all, write me at delusiondispeller@gmail.com. And I am here for you. So happy intermittent fasting. We will meet again probably in about another week, maybe. It's Monday. I think Monday nights work. So Monday night next week at 7. And in between, talk to me in my email or chat or whatever. And I guess that's it. I'm going to stop recording here. We'll see everybody next time. Don't go anywhere.